Okay, good morning, everyone. We're here for the regular council meeting of March 4th, 2025. I'll go into quick introductions and then we'll jump right in it. So we have with us in the council chambers, Councillor Joel Lemoine.
Good morning.
Our Assistant CEO, Dominic Lemoine.
Good morning.
We have online Councillor Jason Bondarchuk.
Good morning.
Councillor Jeanine Boulanger.
Morning.
Councillor Shane Pelletier.
Good morning.
And myself, Chris Ewan. So without further ado, we will go right into it. Item number 1, meeting called to order. Do I have a mover? Councillor Pelletier, second Councillor Lemoine. Any comments before we open the meeting? Seeing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Perfect, thank you. I can see the screen, so council can just lift their hands when I call for the vote. So that is carried 5-all. Open the meeting at 9:01 a.m. Item number 2, adoption of the agenda. Do I have a mover? Councillor Bondarchuk, second Councillor Boulanger. I will ask that we go straight to delegations with RCMP Staff Sergeant, if council is good with that edit, and then we'll go back into the role of usual business.
Good here.
Okay, so with that edit, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? That is carried 5-0. And now we move on to item 7.1 with the RCMP Staff Sergeant Poirier, third quarter stats. Take it away.
Okay, good morning. Thank you. You've all received these stats. Just to go over them quickly and then answer any questions you have. On the topic of the traffic accidents or collisions, overall there was a slight decrease, although you saw a little bit of an increase in the RM and west of the Red River. Traffic stats saw a substantial decrease in the RM and in St. Adolphe, slight increase in Ile-des-Chênes. Overall, a substantial decrease there. I'm trying to see a trend as to why, and I keep coming back to the loss of 2 specific members that were highly traffic focused from last year to this year. One has left the organization and joined the OPP, and the other one has transferred out. So I think we're feeling a little bit of their loss, and we're seeing it on the proactive traffic stats. Impaired's really nothing to speak to. A slight increase in the number reported in the RM and west of the Red River. On provincial statistics, no trends overall. Some increases in St. Adolphe and St. Agathe, slight decreases in Ile-des-Chênes and west of the Red River. I did see a small decrease in family law-related calls and 911 in Ile-des-Chênes and west of the Red River. Other criminal code, you saw an increase in the RM. No trends, just an increase in failed to comply. And that was the big one, failed to comply. Yeah, saw a slight decrease in St. Agathe. Again, failed to comply went down, and the disobey any of the court orders went down as well. So similar in both areas. Crimes against person, a decrease in St. Adolphe, mostly sex-related offenses. Increase in Ile-des-Chênes, sex-related offenses went up. Threats, harassments, and assaults is what we noticed there. Crimes related to property, increases in the RM, St. Adolphe, and Grand Point. Decreases in St. Agathe, west of the Red River, not much change in Ile-des-Chênes. You saw thefts go up, where you saw the increases, mischiefs in B&E to business, where stats went down. You saw thefts under and over 5,000 go down, mischiefs in B&E business. So it's the same crime, seems to be rotating community to community. Again, no major trends as to why. We did have a group that we caught just outside the RM of Richot and ended up in the RM of St. Anne's, where we finally stopped the people. So they were in the area, not necessarily Richot, but very close. So it may have been associated to that, although we can't prove that they were the ones responsible. But any rashes that you saw, that's what they were into. And they were near the area. So I can't say for sure, but that's the only thing I can put my finger on there. Any questions for staff?
Council, open up to you guys.
Yeah, I have a question, but I think you answered it. I was gonna say, there's not a lot of activity in Grand Point by the looks of things, and I'm thinking, well, that's a good thing at first, but then I thought, well, maybe it's just not being patrolled as much or monitored as much. So maybe it's due to the fact that you've lost a couple staff members.
Maybe. I'd like to think we're, as much as we want to be proactive, we're also responsive. So if the calls aren't coming in, you're not going to see the statistics occur as well. We tend to have more of a responsive approach than to catch someone in the act of committing. That's a nice to see happen. They are a little harder to make happen though. So in Grand Point, you saw your mischiefs go up, your frauds, and your B&Es went down. So that's what I noticed in stats there.
Great.
For Ilda Shane, Staff Sergeant, that crime against person, is it limited to a few people on that one? Or was it just across the board?
Let me have a quick look. I'm going to have to look. I can't tell you if it's one specific incident that resulted in multiple offenses or if it's just multiple offenses occurring. But I'll send an email back to Dominic to get you on that.
Yep, thank you. Appreciate that.
Right. Yeah.
For St. Adolphe, the crime against property there with that raise, was it mostly just kind of one incident, like one weekend, or was it fairly spread out during that time frame with that raise?
And it all saw mischiefs and frauds go up. Again, I don't know the exact case, whether it was one situation with multiple offenses or just multiple offenses, but I'll reply back to that as well.
Thanks.
So highlight that.
Anything else from council?
No, thank you.
If there's no questions, I'll just update the HR situation. You all know we're 19 regular members here. I'm currently working with 12. We've had some transfers out, some transfers in as well. One starts this evening out of province of Quebec. He comes into us with 2 years service and is this will be his first foray into uniform policing. So he's a nice addition. I do have three members off right now that are on graduated return to work. And I have an additional vacancies. So that's a total of 5 that I don't have on the road right now. And in addition, I have 1 cadet and I have a member out of Quebec that both require training. So the cadet's on a 6-month training spree, and the member out of Quebec is probably on a 2-week to a month mentoring. I'll call it a session where he'll basically learn the uniform style of policing versus the federal style of policing here. So right now we're working with only 12 members instead of 19. So just an update on that.
Thank you. Anything else from council? No? Okay, I appreciate your time, Staff Sergeant, and we will look forward to those answers. You'll send them to Dominic, and then we'll see you next quarter.
Thank you. And for Dominic, I'll be sending out an email in regards to the APP priorities for council for 25-26. I'll send that out probably today or tomorrow. If I could get a response within about a week, that would be great. And just see if anything's changed from last year. It's my first go around at creating our own APP since I've returned. I've been working off of the old one from last year, so if anything's changed, let me know. I'll try to incorporate into my priorities.
Perfect.
Okay, thank you.
Sounds great. Have a good
Merci.
day.
Thanks.
Okay, moving on to item 3, adoption of minutes. Do I have a mover? Councillor Lemoine, second. Councillor Belanger.
So the last meeting of February 19th, we had one conditional use that was denied. We also had a delegation from the St. Rosa Watershed District, which was really informative. We also had 2 subdivisions that we approved, as well as recognized June as the Parks and Rec month.
Thank you. Council, questions, comments?
There's just a small minor typo on my name in the 6.1.1.
Okay. We can definitely change that.
Never had a typo on your name before, Councillor Belanger. Interesting. Okay. Anything else? Call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried. For committee report. Sorry, Dominic, I'll let you deal with that. Just froze my screen there. Okay, committee reports minutes. Do I have a mover? Councillor Belanger, Councillor Pelletier seconds. Thank you.
Okay, we received the reports from Councillor Bondarchuk for the Reed Shot Library, so hopefully you've had a chance to review.
Thank you. Council, any comments, questions? Seeing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. 5.1 accounts paid to be approved. Do I have a mover? Councillor Bondarchuk, second. Councillor Lemoine.
So we've got 2 batches, batch 2025-05 in the amount of 81,000 and 2025-06 for 20,000. So one of the big costs there is mostly for vehicle insurance in the amount of 46,000.
Awesome. Council, comments, questions?
Not here.
No, call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed, none. That is carried. Thank you. 5.2 accounts not paid to be approved. Do I have a mover? Councillor Pelletier, second. Councillor Belanger.
We have 1 batch here, 2025-04 in the amount of 511,000. And the bulk of that is going to the RSR wastewater co-op. So we're just paying for the 2024 portion that's due.
Thank you. Council, comments, questions? None. Call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. 5.2.1 council indemnities. Do I have a mover? Councillor Belanger, second. Councillor Lemoine.
Hopefully you've had a chance to review, nothing to bring forth on my end.
Thank you. Council, comments, questions? Call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. 5.3 payroll to be approved. Do I have a mover? Councillor Bondarchuk, second. Councillor Lemoine.
Okay, a few hours of overtime here for the last payroll, but no concerns on our end. It's very minimal.
Questions from council? Call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Jumping over to 8.1 bylaw 3 2025 tax levy for 2025 first reading. Do I have a mover? Councillor Bondarchuk, second. Councillor Pelletier.
So we're looking to pass the first reading here, tax levy. I did want to make a note that the school taxes are not updated yet. Those are 2024 numbers, as we won't receive the 2025 numbers until March 15th. So we would pass them as is, but make the change for the second reading once we receive them. Another comment I just wanted to bring up was the tax discount. Not sure if there was any discussion on that, on whether you wanted to keep it to 3 months or change it to 2 months, but just wanted to bring that for discussion.
Yeah, let's do that right now. Council, I think I'm good as is. Are we all good as the same as last year?
Absolutely.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Okay, any other comments just to start it? Seeing none, call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed, none. That is carried. 9.1.1 staff salaries for 2025. Do I have a mover? Councillor Pelletier, second. Councillor Lemoine.
Okay, so typically we pass this a little earlier. It looks like we just forgot. So we're just looking to pass the 2025 salaries for the year.
Perfect. Council discussion, comments? Seeing none, I'll call for the question. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. 9.1.2 Red Wine Watershed District borrowing limit increase. Do I have a mover? Councillor Boulanger, second. Councillor Pelletier.
Okay, so we received a request from the Red Wine Watershed District to have a resolution of support for them to increase their borrowing limit. It looks like they need additional office space, and so they're looking to get an increase to the 500,000 mark. So this would just be a resolution that would provide that support for them.
Perfect. Thank you. Council discussion. Seeing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? That is carried 5-all. Thank you. 9.1.3 policy update, council attendance at conference and seminars. Do I have a mover? Councillor Pelletier, second. Councillor Boulanger.
Okay, just making some small edits on this one, changing it so that it reflects that it's just the fall AMM that you'd be attending, as well as changing it from 1 to 2 staff for the FCM.
Thank you. I'll open up for council.
One more thing, and I also removed the MMA conference as a council. I don't believe ever attends that. It's more of a staff attendance, so I just removed that completely from the policy.
Yeah. No, that's perfect. Council's never attended MMA, so thank you. Council discussion. Councillor Boulanger, I think you sent an email, was it to our CEO asking for some clarification? Is that under this policy or a different one?
A different one. It was about the
Okay.
hours to social events and
Okay.
things like that. But this one is good too, because there was a bit of a confusion there as to the spring AMM convention. So
Perfect. Okay, anything else? Go ahead, Councillor Lemoine.
Just out of curiosity, like if we know already that we can't attend, let's say the fall AMM, do we go to the spring or do we pass a special motion at that time if that comes about?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's a very good question. I never thought of that.
Typically, yeah, so if you have the policy and we can reword it, if you don't want it to be specific, it can just say
One or the other?
one of the, one, either fall or spring. Otherwise, if it does say fall and you want to attend the spring, it technically has to go through a resolution as it differs from our policy. So if you want, I can change the wording to instead say fall and just say one of the AMM conferences, and it would be up to you to decide which one.
What's council want to do? I'm okay either way. Either we do a special motion, which that's kind of tedious. What's easier for administration, Dominic?
Well, if you feel that you will likely, like it could be a possibility, then just having it probably not say fall, but just say one AMM. Either
Council,
or.
what do you guys want to do?
Yeah, I think for item 3 in procedure, if we just change that sentence to attend one AMM conference per year.
yeah, I'm okay with that too.
It looks like we at least know that throughout the year, both will be in the city, then both the following will be in Brandon, from what I think I read on one of the MMM emails last week.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, just a note.
Colin, I can change that if you're all in agreement.
I think friendly amendment. Yeah, we're good.
I'll make a note.
Okay, anything else from council? Call for the question. All's in favor? That's carried. Thank you. 9.1.4 Mid-Canada GFL disbursement of funds. Do I have a mover? Councillor Bondarchuk, second. Councillor Lemoine.
Okay, so we're just looking to wrap up 2024 for the disbursements of funds. And so I got confirmation that our portion for the last portion of 2024 was in the amount of 458,000. And so just looking to pass a resolution for that.
Perfect. Council discussion, debate. Status quo. Call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? None. That is carried. And 9.1.5 RSR wastewater co-op definitive agreement. Do I have a mover? Councillor Pelletier, second. Councillor Lemoine.
Okay, so we're just looking to pass a resolution for the RSR wastewater co-op regarding the definitive agreement. And so again, it's just to formalize the partnership of the co-op. And so it's just a resolution we need to provide to them to continue.
Perfect. Open it up for council discussion. Council thoughts?
I just have a comment on the quality of the PDF. There's a plan there that you can't see anything. Looks like this was written in 1950.
I apologize. I found this on Mitch's desk, so I didn't have another copy, so I had to use what I could find. But yes, I see what you're saying. It's definitely hard to see.
All good.
You're good with that?
Yeah.
Okay, call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? None. That is carried. 9.1.6 support for application to Rural Transit Solutions Fund. Do I have a mover? Councillor Bondarchuk, second. Councillor Lemoine.
So this comes from our EDO. He's requesting just a letter of support to have this application submitted. So again, it's to get some additional funds for some electric vehicles and charging stations.
Perfect. Council discussion? None? Good initiative. Hopeful opportunity. Call for the question. All those in favor? That opposed? Abstained? That is carried. Thank you. And adjournment, item 12. Do I have a mover? Councillor Belanger, second. Councillor Pelletier. Final comments. Call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? None. That is carried. I'll close the meeting at 9:22 a.m. Thank you, everyone, and have a great rest of your day. We'll see you next time.